We've got a new microphone today. Obviously, the Spoon still has his job, but this one's got a funny little hat on. Let me know if you think it sounds better or worse than the last one. So do you remember the other day when we spoke about League being the most balanced it had ever been and how even Riot was shocked by it? Like, it all happened because of Midbeast's post on Twitter, right? They saw it and jokingly responded. Just quickly, if you missed it, you can either go back and watch my video from the other day, or I'll just run over his tweet here really quickly. It says, I hate to say it, but League is possibly too balanced now. I miss broken Brainbrock builds. I miss building 5 Black Cleavers, and I miss 99% ban rate Caedrel. I'm advocating for a Riot unbalanced team. But apparently there was a tone of seriousness in Riot's response, because in the next patch notes, the community's cries for more in-game volatility was listened to, and Riot announced that they were going to try focusing on balancing the game with different ways to build champions again. They spoke of Jungle Nautilus, Lane Viego, AD Maud, and to Bowser's delight, AD Scion.
Bro, we are getting some serious Scion buffs here. Some serious Scion buffs. This is nuts. Next patch is gonna be completely insane.
Some of these things we've seen before, and they typically just shift the way a champion operates. For example, if you build ADTF, you're focusing on his auto attack damage and not so much his spells. Or the old AD Teemo, where Frozen Mallet and Runarns was a thing, and he used to kite you to oblivion with his dot reprocking the Frozen Mallet slow and his shrooms getting in the way as well. That was not fun to play against. But the thing is, there are some rare instances where champions kit interactions with certain items just break the game. Like AD Sylas. Watch Midbeast get a taste of his own medicine, so to speak.
Oh, what have we done, man? Riot, what have we done? I didn't ask for this.
Now, this clearly isn't what Riot had in mind when they spoke on shaking the game's balance state up, because he copped the swiftest of disables I've ever seen. And this is very clearly bugged and not a balance issue. I'm also pretty sure he was sitting at around a 65% win rate before the disable happened. But before the disable happened, all of these clips did.
Call it!
Seeing this many in that small of a window, yeah, you know it was that broken. So obviously this isn't serious. Clearly, Midbeast didn't speak this into existence, nor is it his fault or whatever comments I'm about to receive. It's just a really funny coincidence, especially after I said to be careful what you wish for in my last video. The next day after his tweet, there's AD Sylas passive just 1200 critting people running over games. The coders at Riot have definitely got a busy week ahead, because on top of fixing this bug, they're also trying to wrestle with how to make WASD balanced, like we spoke of in the last video, which you can watch in the description below if you're not up to date. Since then, there has been a lot more feedback come to light from real people and not just Riot Games, the company themselves. Caedrel spoke on his experience trying WASD out when he was in Canada. It's pretty lengthy, so I'll just snip it up here into the most important parts.
I can tell you that there's some things about WASD which is really strange. I think a lot of people will know this. I think maybe I saw Dom did a video. I haven't seen the video, so if I'm repeating his points, I apologize, because I know he was testing it as well. But the way WASD works is you can kite very easily as an AD carry. If you play on WASD, you already have Master to Grandmaster, like level spacing. The reason is, all you have to do is hold the directional keys that you want to run in, for example A and S, so you go down and left, and you hold your mouse right click on top of the enemy champion. That's it. Then your character will automatically run away and hit on every single attack speed that it has. That's it. All you have to hold is AS and hold your right click down. And if I want to sidestep, I press D. And then, for example, I was playing Ezreal. Your Q is your left click. So when you're kiting, all you have to do is like ASD, ASD, as you're kiting back, hold your right click down and just click. And kind of, when it comes to kiting as AD carries, when I played Ezreal, it felt like I was playing on like, I don't know what the word, aim assist, like autopilot, you know? Some guy in chat says, I move my camera with WASD. Well, you're f***ing cooked. Overall, it's kind of like aim assist, you know? It's easier to dodge the easy spells. It's harder to dodge the harder spells. it's got a cap in my opinion. Chad, the final thing I'll say about WASD is like, you know how they like said, we want to increase more younger generation players to compete in league, so we introduce WASD. I'm like, okay, we've introduced WASD. How do we get more access to players? We've introduced a new feature. It's called third-person League of Legends, where you can have your camera just above your character and you can play the game from a third-person perspective instead of a top-down view. We think this will be a good change because it encourages more players who come from a Fortnite background and a first-person perspective. Now it's third-person. You know, imagine this happening in like, I just imagine this happening in like 5 years' time.
So am I meant to be saying WASD, or do I say WASD? I've been calling it WASD this whole time. Anyway, what I took from this is that even I, someone who can only pilot Riven, and sometimes not even very well, can now play AD carry thanks to WASD. The part where he spoke on just holding the directional key and right click down to kite just sounds insane. Like, a lot of skill expression is being removed here for AD carry champions. Like, I would kind of hate it if I, as a Riven player, could just see anyone pick up Riven and just master these combos that I've spent thousands of hours practicing. The part where he speaks on having your hands on WASD and spells bound to mouse buttons is really interesting though. I was wondering how they were going to make certain champions work. But how do I fast combo on Riven? For those that don't know, when fast comboing, you have to click ground like 3 times per Q to cancel the auto. Is this going to work with WASD? And it's not just Riven, I'm sure there are tons of other champions that have similar mechanics to this too that'll be affected. So like Caedrel, Dom got to try it at the same event and he's obviously an ex-pro player. Here he shares his experience. Same deal as before, I'm just cutting it up to be more succinct.
The WASD controls, I think that they will be OP at certain points of the game. And this is like the weirdest thing is I wonder how people are going to navigate this. But in early lane phase, when you don't have high attack speed, I don't think there's really much value in WASD controls, right? Like the whole idea of WASD controls and what makes them so OP is that you can perfectly kite in a team fight. Like if you have very high attack speed, you can keep your mouse over them, right click them, and then be moving WASD and just moving in all directions. And you don't have to like click back and forth to position. That's when they're super, super OP. But the weird thing about Summoner's Rift is that, and this is something that I didn't realize when I made my original comments about WASD, because I thought it was just going to be broken, period, which I think it's still going to be broken for AD carries late game, is that the map is like slanted, right? Like the map in League is slanted like this, whereas in other games that are WASD controls, it's, you know, it's a square. But this map is like bottom left to top right. So there's a bunch of like weird things that go with that. Like when you're laning, it feels super weird if you're like in bot lane and you're trying, because you can't go sideways, you know, like you have to just go up, and so it's like pretty weird to lane with WASD controls. Jungling is actually like horrible with WASD controls. So I got to run a couple clears. Owner ran some clears as well. Between me and Owner, we couldn't clear faster than like 340 or like 335, and this is maybe through like 3 or 4 tests, so it's not like we played that many times. Maybe we could perfect it, but as a jungler, it's super weird to try to clear with WASD controls because you can't, because your camps are top left to bottom right. So when you go through like mid lane, you have to go like up, down, up, down, up. You have to walk in a zigzag to try to get to the other side of your jungle.
One point from this that I found really interesting and hadn't really considered yet is that with WASD, I'm calling it WASD, I don't care, you're having to navigate constantly playing in diagonal space, but with keys that inherently favor up, down, left, and right. Like yes, diagonal is a thing, but you have to hold 2 keys to make that direction happen. It will be interesting to see how this pans out. And I guess that's what he means by certain parts of the game WASD is easier than others, because in laning you're stuck in that diagonal space. In River, fights can become more linear, etc. And team fights in late game is all basically just in mid lane or near Baron or something, so we're going to see a lot of crazy kiting champions. He also reiterated Caedrel's grievances with jungle clearing and even said Owner wasn't getting the fastest clears alongside him at around 340 on average. Anyway, I just wanted to share these clips because the last video's topic was all about it, and I want to keep on top of informing you guys as WASD rolls out because it is a massive change to League and it's a pretty interesting topic to me. So with all that, let me know your experiences in your games recently with Crit Sylas and thoughts on WASD down below, and thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in another news video very, very soon. Bye!